So I just pulled up to this parking lot. A lot of Teslas are looking at me at their charging ports, thinking that I'm crazy, but it is what it is. It's because I'm parked super weirdly. But I don't really care. You know, I know that this content's for a reason. It's to serve you guys. It's so that you guys can actually learn. And I know this has nothing to do with today's topic, but it's just a little bit of context so you understand kind of, you know, what I'm doing really. But I had to make this video to share to you guys what I think, really, because us as ambitious people, right? We have goals. We are always on this personal development journey to try to always learn and take what we can from other people who are in better positions, right? Whether it's financially, fitness wise, relationally, it doesn't even matter. We just understand we got to learn and get better, right? So I don't really care how I learn. I just know that I need to be able to. I don't care what may stop me. It's not going to stop me from continuing to try to take action towards the goals that I'm trying to pursue, right? But what you may find, and what is in theme with this video, right, is whenever you are on the pursuit of these ambitious and very significant goals, we always tend to have a period at the start, maybe in the middle, where we see little to no change at all. And this is something that's happening within my life as well, right? When it comes to business, right? It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be periods where it's extremely slow, and you're going to have your mind fill up with these negative thoughts, these doubts, this hopelessness of, is all the work that I'm doing even amounting to anything? Is it even worth it when I see so much other people, you know, having what I have, making it seem like it's easy to get, right? These people have it easy, but I'm out here busting my ass, but I'm seeing no results. And this sort of period can either make or break a person, because the person that quits there is never going to be able to find out what he was actually able to achieve if he kept going, right? And 99% of the time, once you do continue, even in the face of doubt, in the face of no results, in the face of people doubting you even, you'll find out that you'll succeed anyway. But it's extremely hard to push past that point, because you will always be your biggest enemy, right? In my head, I'm always doubting myself, right? I have this really bad negative talk, and I've had that since I was extremely young. But this costed me so many opportunities that would have made me in a better position than I am right now. But don't get me wrong, I'm in incredible shape for my age. I have my mind on straight. I know what my priorities are, what my morals are. I don't sleep around with women. I actually have a girl that I'm staying with at this moment. And it's been pretty well, right? It's nice to see kind of what my future is gonna bring by living with somebody that, you know, I like, that fulfills what I have in mind for my future. But yeah, my position isn't bad in the slightest, but it could have been better if I didn't have these self-doubts. But of course, we're all human, right? And it's extremely understandable. It's just the fact that when things get tough, even though we're the ones that ask for it, we're over here complaining, we're over here on the verge of quitting, and it doesn't make any sense. Because 3 months ago, you told yourself you were going to lock in no matter what. You were going to stick to it even though it was hard. You're going to do all that's necessary because you don't like your situation right now. But then 3 months pass by, no results, no progress. Even though you're putting in the inputs and working hard, but guess what? The hard part is not seeing the results. Results don't ever come like that. They always come delayed. That's why you're supposed to put in the work. You're supposed to have to go through that pressure, because as we all know, there's always a significant amount of pressure before the huge breakthrough. And if you don't get that, you'll quit too soon to realize and be able to see how much potential you were able to have, right? We all heard the saying, right? If you pull on a rubber band, it stretches, but it stretches and stretches. But if you're going like this, nothing really happens. But if you pull hard enough and farther enough, the highest point in pressure is at this end, when it's about to snap and it just goes, right? That's how you should be viewing your journey, whether it's your fitness journey, whether it's your financial journey, whether you're trying to, accomplish any significant goal, right? Any strenuous goal that takes a lot of work. All you have to understand is there is going to be a significant amount of pressure before the huge breakthrough, right? And the breakthrough is what you're aiming for. So what a lot of people I see do is go like this. They go, tension is high, their life is applying the pressure, but then they go back down. They're like, oh, I gotta slow down. Oh, I need to relax. Oh, I need to unwind. It's the weekend. I need to go with my friends and just chill out, right? A lot of the people that I talk to about their fitness journey specifically, it's exactly like that. Because once they get to that pressure point, if they would have just continued to stay putting in the inputs, they would have got that huge breakthrough, right? Maybe they would finally see that pump in the mirror at the gym and they're like, holy crap, I actually see the difference. Or they maybe look at the weight scale and realize, oh my gosh, I actually lost a ton of fat, or I actually packed on hella muscle, right? I'm seeing changes in the weight scale, which they never would have been able to do that, because once it reached that point, they went back down. Oh, I gotta unwind. I gotta go back to smoking, drinking with my friends. I gotta, there's this concert I gotta go to on the weekend. There probably is gonna be drinks, drugs, and bad food there, but it is what it is. Oh, my friend wants to go to a bar for his birthday. Oh, we're gonna drink. Oh, there's gonna be women. Like, you put yourself back down to the point where you're resetting, and you're now in this constant cycle of despair, right? You're never going to be able to go to that breaking point if you continue to put your foot off of the gas, right? When things are tough, when there's no results you see, when you're putting in a lot of work, right? And it's stressful, that's where you need to put your foot on the gas even further, right? And a lot of you guys need to hear this, because I see you. Yeah, you're putting in the work, but you know you can putting in at least 1% more, right? But you choose not to do that because you think that you deserve some sort of, oh, I don't know. You think you deserve something, which is very entitled, right? And trust me, I didn't realize myself that back when I used to work in Texas, in this warehouse that I was doing hours and hours of work, where it was peak season, where there were so many orders to fulfill in this fulfillment warehouse type of thing, right? I was manufacturing products. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but I was doing that. I was carrying around boxes. I was doing all that. Like, we all know how a warehouse job is like, right? But it was pretty demanding labor-wise. Peak season, I had no days off. I was doing, at the bare minimum, 10 hours every single day. I woke up at 6 a.m., got off at 5 p.m., or sometimes even later than that, and just stayed there, right? All this pressure was on me At the same time, work related stuff was like a drag, right? The work environment was pretty toxic. Everybody was expecting things. Things were going wrong. People had like life problems. And so yeah, incredible tension, a lot of pressure and high stress, right? I remember just sitting in my car afterwards at around 11 p.m. when I finished with work, hitting the gym and all that. At home, I was just sitting in the car in front of the driveway after I did this intense workout and just thought to myself, is all of this worth it? Like, am I doing all of this for nothing? Because it's always going to be this way, right? I started trying to accept that life was just about this work, and it's kind of hopeless. I'm lonely. It's only me out here working. But, you know, I never quit, right? I never put my foot off the gas. I wasn't going to go back into work, be a pussy, and kind of take it easy for the day, right? Thinking that I deserve that because I put in weeks after week of 10-hour days and little to no sleep, right? While still hitting the gym, mind you. I didn't think that I deserved some sort of rest. I wanted to do whatever it took to continue to try and max out my inputs like I've been doing, right? More energy drinks, proper food so that I feel the energy from it. No junk food that would slow me down and give me brain fog, right? I had to think sharply. I had to move sharply, right? Everything optimized. And only then was I able to build that work ethic to put into my business now, right? I would have never been able to have that if I put my foot off the gas and thought, I deserve a rest. On the weekend, maybe I should go somewhere with some friends and just unwind. I hate that. Maybe I should take this nap right now since it's my break and it's not that busy. No, bro. Like, it's out of character for me to have to do that, right? But trust me, it had to take so many times of trial and error for me to get to this point where I can do that. Because don't get me wrong, right? Seeing no progress or seeing no results or any instant gratification is like hell, right? You have no sort of reinforcement that what you're doing right now and this pain you're going through is worth it at all. You see nothing, right? But you're gonna have to go through a period of seeing nothing for you to eventually see something, or you'll always just see nothing every single time you try. And at that point, how can you trust yourself? How can you trust yourself with trying to pursue something else, right? What if there's another goal you want to reach, but you're like, I know I'm going to quit right when I start anyway, so what's the point, right? Then you have this self-negative talk, and basically anything you try to pursue ends up just being a huge waste of time, right? You should try to make the most out of that time, not suffer for no reason. And you do that by suffering long enough in order for you to see the results. You know, after that point, I moved on to realize, like, okay, even though I'm not seeing any, pleasure from the work that I'm doing in Texas, right? Showing up to the warehouse, sacrificing my sleep, still hitting the gym, doing all these things, I see no pleasure, no gratification. All I know is that I'm able to use this experience to my advantage, right? You need to understand that all labor is beneficial. All labor doesn't go to waste, right? More work never gets wasted. It's always gonna come back to you in the achievements you want to achieve, or maybe in that experience that you need, that discipline that you need, so that you can carry on to pursuing other shit, right? It's never gonna hurt you to do more work. What's gonna hurt you is contemplating on whether, is it even worth it for me to, once you start questioning your purpose for doing these things, you lose. And that's something that I wouldn't wish upon you at all, right? So it's either commit or don't. Be better or stay bitter, right? You have to decide that for yourself. And the only way you can do that is by either taking action or not, right? Is that goal that you're trying to aim for worth all the pain and sacrifice you need to be making in order for you to achieve it, right? Every single significant goal has a huge price tag on it. And you got to ask yourself, am I willing to pay that price, or is it too expensive, right? Guess what? All of these goals are usually too expensive, but it's up to you to make the difference. It's up to you to try to meet that price. And you do that by constantly trying to work towards it. You can't just expect to quit once it gets hot, once things get heated in the moment, right? You need to actually think about the future and realize that things will get better. It's either you get better or you stay bitter. I'm telling you this. Your situation will 100% either die down, or you will just be able to handle a increased workload because your capacity for doing hard things has increased, And it only gets to that point once you condition yourself to be able to handle that much workload, that much stress, that much acting under pressure, all of that, right? And I'm telling you this, I don't want to scare you though, because it sounds like you need to inflict pain onto yourself and do all this, but it truly does get easier, right? And the easiest way that I can relate this to is just through my personal fitness journey, where at the start there was no progress, right? If anything, everybody else around my circle was progressing faster than me because they started off higher body fat and they were able to, mass moves mass. They're getting stronger while I'm staying weak, right? That hurts me. But that never stopped me from continuing to, it did, but that never stopped me from continuing to try, right? Trial and error. I failed and I learned. I was trying my best. And eventually, I got to a point where my fitness is just second nature now. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to try as intensely as I did when I was on the come up. And that's just because I put in the work and I'm just used to it now, right? It's like brushing my teeth, hitting the gym, brushing my teeth. These are just standards I need to meet. These are standards that I need to just adhere to, So it's not always going to be grinding 24/7, but you need to be able to grind for long enough for it to get to that point, right? I hate seeing that people just quit right in the face of that huge breakthrough that you can get, right? Maybe that's that drop in weight. Maybe that's that increase in weight. Maybe that's that extra 10 pounds of strength that you see on your bench press or your bicep curl, right? You would never be able to see that if you stopped putting in the inputs, if you quit too early, right? That's so much worse than if you never started at all. Because if you never started at all, you would never even know what you're capable of. But you starting and quitting It's almost like saying I was too afraid of what might happen if I succeeded, right? I was too scared of the work that it stopped me from getting that goal that I thought that I wanted, right? You basically don't want it bad enough. And so if you're someone who's currently in these trenches right now, understand that it gets better on the other side, and that the current situation you're in right now is necessary for you to reach that next level, right? And you need to stick to it long enough for you to see the benefit. If anything, work even harder, bro. Work even harder, because you're not gonna regret it if you didn't, right? You're at that last breaking point until you actually break through, and you're just sabotaging yourself if you stop too early. I wanted to make this video because there's been many times where it's just been hard, right? Even now, being in this constant, going to war with my purpose, trying to figure things out and work for most of my time, like, it does get hard, right? We all get those thoughts, Nobody's even that perfect. The person that you see on social media you think is so, successful, has these thoughts as well. And honestly, they're just the type of person that would just portray this image of perfection, even though in reality your life is never going to be like that, right? And I'm happy to say that my Instagram is nothing like that. I'm open fully on my Instagram. I talk about my struggles, my weak points, the things that I had to deal with even before and now. And I'm telling you right now that it's not sunshine and rainbows, and it's never going to be this perfect scenario. But you thinking that it's not supposed to feel this way is what's costing you your dream outcome, your future, right? Don't expect it to be smooth. You should expect it to be hard. You should expect it to be a lot of pressure on your hands. But look, take a moment to breathe. Take a moment to focus and realize that the work that you're doing will pay off. Keep your eyes on the prize, but don't get blinded and quit. Your eyes should be on the prize, but your focus should be on the daily inputs today. You can do something today. And if you think you're doing enough, you're not. Because there's always more that you can do. There's always more you can look for. There's always more things that you can learn to make your current journey a lot better. I had to lower my ego and understand that I don't deserve any days off. When my mother works 10 times harder than I do, and I'm young and in the highest peak energy ever in my current state, right? So there's no excuse for me. And so comparing yourself to others, seeing like, I still have my hands, right? There's people out here who have only one arm. I still have my legs. I still have my sight. People have to wear glasses, which is like something that most people overlook. But if you realize that, you are blessed to be in the situation, then the work seems less scary, You realize that you're blessed to be able to do this work and blessed to be able to suffer in this way, because you're not suffering by losing your arm, losing your legs, losing your sight, having cancer, being on your deathbed right now at a young age, an unexpected age that, you're still alive. You still have breath in your lungs, so you shouldn't be complaining about suffering for a better cause, right? Because you're the one who chose to embark on this journey anyway. So why would you complain for something that you asked for. You asked for that goal, so you're getting the difficulty and the cost that's required for you to achieve that goal. And once the universe or God, whatever you want to call it, put it onto your lap, you want to just brush it off because it's too much for you now, right? You're sabotaging yourself by not continuing. You know, it might take another inch, another day, another week, but that's probably all it took for you to see that gratification, see that first ounce of result, right? Because when I was able to see that, I was actually getting stronger. I had a new PR in bench press, which is something that I did every single week, maybe even multiple times a week. Or I gained a few pounds. I looked in the mirror and I looked a bit fuller, right? The pumps actually felt better. I was like, all right, I can do this for the rest of my life. I only want to work even harder now. There's more that I could be doing that I'm not, right? That gratification, I only needed a sliver of it for me to want to work 10 times harder, 100 times harder. And after that point, I was able to secure my health for the rest of my life and be in the best shape of my life and maintain that, right? I am the way that I look right now because of that. And if I quit too early, I would have never forgiven myself for that. So look, let's say you're going through this right now, or let's say you are somebody who has quit before. Just realize it's not too late, and realize that on the other side of your pain is the pleasure, right? And it'll always feel so much better if it's backed up by your intensity, your suffering, your dedication to it, your ambition and hunger to get it done, right? If you can still have the same hunger despite seeing no results, then you've already won. If you can be happy and smile in the face of a situation where there's no reason to be happy or smiling about, then you've won, because you have conquered it. You've gotten to the point where it doesn't matter if you win or lose. You've already won because you are, in your character, fulfilled by this pursuit. And so look, I want you guys to all achieve this level of gratitude, this level of work ethic and accomplishment, right? And you're only able to do this by realizing that it's not going to be this way for the rest of your life. And that you have to find joy in the work anyway. And that when everything seems like it's crumbling, it feels so hopeless and lonely at times, that these times are where everything's going to change for you. Trust me, I had that feeling before, but I also had this little feeling of hope and optimism that carried me, and I was right. My intuition made it so that I sensed that next breakthrough that I was gonna have, right? It was almost like a foreshadowing for my future from all the labor that I've been putting in and how it's gonna pay off, right? It's gonna be the exact same way for you, and I promise that, right? Nothing's worse than a quitter. You can be somebody who's been psyoped. You eat Goy Slob, McDonald's, Panda Express, watch Netflix, you, I don't know, pay for hookers, take drugs, go to parties for fun. I don't know. You can be a complete degenerate and complete loser, but you would still be better than somebody who quit when they tried and it got too hard. I hope you guys take this video as, you know, a wake-up call, whatever you may need. I know that me at a younger age would have needed something like this to, you know, slap me in the face and just wake me the fuck up so that I can stop living on autopilot, right? But yeah, had to get that off my chest. Had to give this message to somebody out there who needs it, who's in the trenches like I am right now, because I'm actively trying to pursue my better future as well. I've gotten fitness down, I need finances down, and I need relationships down. And right, these 3 pillars are what you need to be a well-rounded 10 out of 10 man. And so I'm constantly pursuing that. But yeah, since fitness is one of the things that I've basically mastered, right? And maybe you, the viewer, haven't yet. That's something that you do want to take seriously. And you don't want to be at that breaking point and not commit and follow through. Then book a call in the link of the description or DM me on Instagram. Reach out and I'll qualify you on our call to see if we're a good fit to work with each other. I'll hold you through the entire process. I'll be the support system you need to ensure that you don't become that pussy that quits in the face of adversity, right? Because we'll understand that adversity is what builds us. And it's going to be as seamless as possible. Everything done for you. But with that being said, that's the video. I hope you guys liked it. Like it, comment what you thought, comment what you're going through right now, comment if this is actually helping you, maybe share this to a friend, click that subscribe button if you want to. Yeah,